Welcome, football fans, to the Scuttlebutt today. Let's look at the biggest losers of the 2025 college football transfer portal. Please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. According to CBS, there were a few high-profile transfers that failed to deliver on expectations this season. Every year during the college football transfer portal cycle, fans of teams across the country get a renewed sense of hope. Because of the mass exodus that happens every season, players often fall under the radar and become stars at their next destination. On the flip side, some highly touted players don't work out at their next stop their first year, but sometimes it just takes time to do so. The biggest name who entered the transfer portal this past offseason was Nico. The former Tennessee quarterback went back to the West Coast where he grew up and enrolled at UCLA. Although there were some low lights during Nico's first season with the Bruins, there were moments when Nico showed why he was a highly regarded recruit in the first place. One of those was when he engineered one of the biggest upsets of the 2025 season against Penn State in the best statistical game of his career. However, the season overall was mediocre. Another player from Nico's high school recruiting class was Jackson Arnold. The former Oklahoma quarterback transferred to Auburn last offseason, and it didn't work out. Arnold was benched against Arkansas and appeared in just 2 more games the rest of the season. Outside of logging just 9 snaps in a game against Tennessee, Nick Anderson from LSU was sidelined for most of the season. During the 2023 campaign, Anderson had a breakout year, accounting for 798 yards and 10 touchdowns. The third-ranked wide receiver in the transfer portal rankings enrolled at LSU, looking for a fresh start but couldn't replicate similar production. Anderson finished with 12 catches for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns in 7 games. Elo transferred from Navy to Georgia and was the 8th-ranked edge transfer. He was expected to be a key part of Georgia's rebuilding defense this season. After all, Elo was the 3rd highest-ranked transfer. The Bulldogs added this offseason behind receivers Zachariah Branch and Noah Thomas. After posting 6 in sacks at Army, Elo has yet to record a sack with his new team. In the SEC title game against Alabama, Elo logged just 12 snaps. However, the Bulldogs are in the playoffs, and Elo may just find his way back to a sacking machine when it means the most while on the way to the national championship game. South Carolina running back Faison had to wait until days before South Carolina's first game to find out if he would be eligible to play in 2025. Ultimately, Faison, the 3rd-ranked running back in the transfer portal rankings, was granted an additional season of eligibility by the NCAA. His best game of the season came against Vanderbilt when he finished with 74 rushing yards and a touchdown. Overall, he ran for just 470 yards and 3 touchdowns in 12 games. Perhaps one of the most surprising developments of the entire season was Oklahoma running back Jaden Ott seeing his production plummet. After rushing for over 1,700 yards and 16 touchdowns the last 2 seasons with Cal, Ott was limited to just 21 carries during the regular season. His best game came against Kent State when he ran for 49 of his 68 total yards on 11 attempts. He hasn't recorded a stat since the Red River rivalry showdown against Texas. However, there is a chance Oklahoma will need Ott in the first round of the playoff when they face the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama has a mean defensive front that could give the Sooners a challenge as their offense has been average at best. Hudson, who originally committed to Texas Tech out of high school, transferred to Texas A&M after the 2024 season ended. However, during the spring window, Hudson recommitted to Texas Tech. The former 5-star recruit caught 8 passes for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns in 5 games for the Big 12 champs. Once again, this is a guy to get some run the playoff if they expect to make it to the big one. Murphy, the former Texas and Duke quarterback, transferred to Oregon State this past offseason. The number 82 overall player in the transfer rankings finished the season with 1,805 passing yards and a touchdown to interception ratio of 9-8. Murphy completed 58% of his passes, and Oregon State finished the ugly season 2-10. Arnold, the former Oklahoma quarterback, was benched during a 33-24 win over Arkansas. He finished the season with 1,309 passing yards and was never able to find consistency within the offense. It went downhill for Auburn and Arnold after he rushed for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns in a win over Baylor in the season opener. Ultimately, it could have been coaching that dampened the season when it came to offensive production. I wonder what team Arnold will transfer to next, as Auburn has a stud in the quarterback room waiting to take the reins next season. After a productive season at South Alabama last year, Gio Lopez entered the transfer portal and enrolled at North Carolina. Lopez was named the starting quarterback over veteran Max Johnson ahead of UNC's opener against TCU and finished 4 of 10 for 69 yards after leaving early due to injury. That blowout loss was a sign of bad things to come for UNC and Bill Belichick's first season in Chapel Hill. Lopez completed 65% of his passes for 1,747 yards and 10 touchdowns with 5 interceptions as UNC finished the season with a 4-8 record. Well, at least it's basketball season. Zach Calzada enrolled at Kentucky this offseason after previous stint at Texas A&M. He was expected to be UK's starting quarterback for the full season. However, he was benched after just 2 games and ended the year with 238 yards passing and 2 interceptions. Kentucky reportedly paid over $1 million to pull him out of the transfer portal. Turns out the money simply wasn't worth the squeeze. Kaidon Salter fueled one of the most watched quarterback competitions this offseason was at Colorado, where the question who will be Sanders' successor came up frequently. Coach Deion Sanders landed Salter out of the transfer portal. Salter was a star at Liberty University, and the fit on paper seemed ideal. However, Colorado's quarterback situation was fluid throughout. 3 different signal callers were Salter, Julian Lewis, and Ryan Staub got starting level snaps. While Salter played the most of the bunch, he never established himself as the Buffalo's full-time starter. This is a clear example of the risk coaches take to bring in players and hoping to fit in the program, and the money sent produces wins. But you can't blame the programs trying, as every team is getting poached of their talent. I think Kirby Smart's approach is the best, as it's better to pay your players that has years in the program than pay a transfer and hope that it is a fit. That's in my words, not his. What you do think about the transfer portal, please let me know below. Fans, thank you for visiting the Scuttlebutt. Please like and subscribe and come back, as next we will cover the biggest winners of the 2025 transfer portal. Until next time, family, aloha.